Reasons to Hope. This is the 10th week of writing the book of hope together at Root and Vine. If you're just now joining us, we are writing the book of hope, which means every day we're taking a few moments to write down our daily 5 gratitudes. And we get together every Monday at 3 o'clock Eastern on Root and Vine News Instagram to talk about what's giving us reasons to hope. By the end of the year, we are going to have over 2,000 gratitudes and at least 52 reasons to hope. So this is our 10th week. Thank you all so much for being here. I am so excited because I'm a songwriter and a musician. That's what brought me to doing this work with Root and Vine and with Consensus. And it's the storytelling and songwriting that I really find to be so life-giving, and it's where I find hope. And so what we've been doing at Root and Vine is we've just launched a series called Our Story, Our Song, where we get to go behind the scenes, outside, under the big sky, with the backdrop of nature, with some amazing artists who are singing their songs and telling their stories. And we just released episode 2 last Friday with one of my favorites. She is a pop singer-songwriter who splits her time between Nashville and Los Angeles. I have had the good fortune to write with her. She's an incredible songwriter, an amazing performer, and she has just, her episode of Our Story, Our Song has just premiered on rootandvinenews.com. And she's going to be here with us today. So without further ado, I'm going to welcome to Reasons to Hope, MAYLYN.
Oh,
hey girl.
Hello, it worked. I always get so nervous when I'm trying to join a live stream because I don't know if it's going to work, but it worked.
Well, no, there's definitely that moment. Anything live is somewhat nerve-wracking. Can we just all admit that?
No, yeah. But we're here, and we did
We're here.
Yeah, I've been so excited for this. I love talking to you, and I love what we're talking about today.
Yes.
So this is going to be fun.
So what we're talking about today, give it to me straight. So what are your reasons to hope at this moment?
Well, this morning, so I was, I try to set aside time in the morning to read scripture, and I realized that, the one thing that brings me the most hope and peace of mind right now is Isaiah 55:8, which is, his ways are higher than our ways, and his thoughts are higher than our thoughts. And basically it's just saying, between you and God in the room, you're not the smartest one. Thank gosh, because yeah, if I was, then there would be no reason for hope. I'd be really stressed out. But anyways, even when things are nuts and you don't understand what he's doing, he's smarter than you. And thank goodness. So that's my hope today.
That's such good perspective. It kind of goes right along with the idea of living the questions and being able to be at peace in times of uncertainty. Right. And that scripture, I think there's a verse in Ecclesiastes that says he's put eternity in our hearts. And I always feel like the concept of eternity is something that's so impossible for our human minds to grasp. Infinity. When I was a little kid and my parents told me about heaven, I was like, what do you mean forever? And they're like forever. And I'm like forever? What is forever?
It doesn't even sound that good. I remember thinking, I don't think I want to be anywhere forever.
I know, I feel the same way. But
somehow it's good. Yeah.
Somehow that we can't understand. Right. But it's so, there's so much peace and hope in that sort of understanding that we don't have to understand. It's okay to not know. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. And it's in little things not knowing what's going to happen next in my career, which is kind of scary, but also the really big things too, when someone gets sick. I just feel the whole world could really we just desperately need that, especially this past year. With the pandemic, there was so much unknown, and if every human mind could know that it's okay that they don't really understand what's happening and it's somehow for their good, I think everyone would have been a lot more joyful and hopeful.
Yeah. Let's talk about what for me, what brings me hope and is a lot of times songwriting and getting to write with people like you. So the way that we first met was in a songwriting session in Nashville.
Yeah.
And then we got to work together. I was so excited to get to film you for Our Story, Our Song. Yeah. And on that episode, I was asking you a question. It didn't make the episode, but in in the conversation we were having, I asked you what character of the Bible you would be.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember what you said?
I said David. Well, I don't know if I would be him, but I would hope I would be. But I always think about him, and one of it's kind of for an obvious reason because, like you said, we're both songwriters. But I just think about how interesting that the Bible like had this musician, and at first like his story started with that. Like that's all he was in the beginning, was a really awesome musician, and then from there his story grows so much. But maybe that's why. Is that why I think about him so much? Probably so. But he's a really awesome character. So.
Well, definitely.
Yeah.
I love it. He's been, and it's like there's so many aspects of his life, even just looking historically, you know, starting out as a shepherd and then getting called in to sing songs because King Saul was having bad dreams. And so right there, the is really about his music. I love every single one of your songs and Our Story, Our Song. They have been in my head constantly. And I wanted to ask you, you know, is there, whether it's one of those songs or another song that we might be able to go and listen to, or even just a song writing experience you've had that has gotten you through a rough time or given you reason to hope?
Yeah, it's funny how music does that, because I'm pretty sure you could stop anybody on the street and be like, what songs have gotten you through a hard time? And each person has like a huge list. And I do too. Like growing up, I think I've probably, who knows how many songs I've like held on to at different times in my life. But I will say that, funny enough, I wrote a song one time, and it's called Hella Beautiful. And you obviously know it because it was on our episode. But this is funny because I wrote it one day just like thinking, oh, I'm just going to write a funny song about someone who's so confident. And basically, it's the verse, you are fearfully and wonderfully made. Like, you're perfect. Mm-hmm. But I made it more of like a joke and fun. But then months later, like so many months later, I needed that song. And it was the coolest experience for me because I had never like needed something I had written myself. That was a weird occurrence for me. But yeah, so I guess that one, but I need to think. I mean, gosh, there's been other songs that are obviously not my own that have helped me out a lot. I need to keep thinking.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I love what you just said about writing it and needing it later and not knowing when you were, because that's happened to me so many times. As a writer, I've written songs and they've come from a really real, authentic place.
Yeah.
In my sort of emotional landscape, but I haven't really necessarily had the story to back that up yet. It's just like I felt it or something. And one thing I thought's really interesting is in the Psalms, David is writing, some of the Psalms David wrote and end up in the New Testament. You know, like, why, like, literally Jesus on the cross, like, why have you forsaken me? Like, it's so powerful.
He's quoting it, yeah.
The potential for songs and stories to carry prophecy and carry truth that lasts for generations, and then we get to participate in that tradition. It's just such a, I always feel so grateful to be an artist and to get to create in that way, you know?
Oh, I know. Like, how crazy is that? Like, maybe, and that just makes me think more like maybe there's a song like, Kate, that you've written and there was a line that, you know, you meant one way, but maybe someone's out there holding on to that line in a whole new context, but somehow it's helping them. Like, if somebody could tell me that one of my lines or some portion of a song that I've written helped them even a tiny bit, like, how cool is that? That would be the greatest thing ever.
It's so cool. I mean, it's what we're really doing here. It's why we're doing this reason, you know, writing the Book of Hope together and getting together every Monday, because it really, by us sharing what's giving us reasons to hope and sharing our gratitudes in the comments and on the feed, we're really able to inspire and encourage one another. And you have no idea how much, just like you have no idea who's heard your song, in what context, how it's helped them get through. Yeah. You have no idea how the little things we say on a daily basis can encourage others and be what somebody needs, you know, to make it through the day. So I encourage all of you, thank you so much, all of you, for being here, but drop a comment in the video chat. Let us know what's giving you reasons to hope. And we're so excited because MAYLYN's episode is out. If you haven't seen it yet, it's at rootandvinenews.com. and she performs some amazing songs live. We were in the Tennessee countryside. It was just gorgeous. It was a beautiful day.
Mm-hmm.
And so definitely check that out. But MAYLYN, I want to ask you, this week we're talking about songwriting on rootandvinenews.com. We have a kind of an invitation to all of you to write your own song of hope. And a lot of times people who are not songwriters by trade, that might sound daunting, but I feel like for me, I think writing a song is pretty simple. It's pretty much just opening your heart and pouring out your heart on paper, and not worrying about how it sounds in the moment, right? Like in a songwriting session, you just go in and you're like, this is how I feel right now.
Yeah, exactly. You have time to overthink it later, but it's kind of like, I mean, that's how a good song is written for sure. And sometimes, I mean, I guess depending on what your background is, it could be a poem at first. It's just writing out like a free, what is it? What am I trying to say? A free flow of thoughts. That was a tongue twister.
Yes.
But yeah, completely. I do think it sounds intimidating. One of my sisters is a great writer, and I tell her to write songs, and she acts like it's like really scary, but it's really not.
It's like so much easier than actually writing a report or a story or a paper or anything, even a letter. Like, so this week we're inviting all of you who are participating in writing the Book of Hope with us to write your own song of hope. So think about it. If it's daunting and scary to you, think about it in the same way. If you were writing a psalm or a song of praise or a song of wonder or delight, what would you say? And just let that flow as you take your time to write your daily 5. And I'm really excited because I just want to remind people that I really believe that we're made in the image of God. God is the ultimate creator, and we're put here on this earth to co-create and to participate in this healing and search for hope together. And I think for that reason, everyone is an artist. If you're a mother, if you're a father, you have already created the most beautiful song you could ever sing. And that's the ultimate creative act that God has given us. And I think that as songwriters, we're fortunate to get to participate in that co-creation pretty much every day in Nashville. But I just want to encourage all of you, because art and music can be so therapeutic and really, being a songwriter, I feel like I get free therapy for myself and all in my songwriting sessions. But
definitely.
So I'm just so glad to have you here, MAYLYN, and I want to ask you too. There was I saw you tagged Root and Vine last week, and you were hanging out with Erskine, who's another Our Story Our Song artist who I adore. And you guys were doing something pretty amazing. What can you tell us about it?
Oh my gosh, y'all. Okay, so I don't have a green thumb at all. Like I don't think I've ever planted anything. If I have, it probably died. So, but Erskine and I were talking. We had read a really awesome book, Reforesting Faith, with you, Kate, and a few others. And after reading the book, we realized it kind of renewed my love and respect for creation, and specifically in trees. I mean, gosh, I just feel like there's so much you can learn by just being outside. And that's kind of what we talked about in our Root and Vine episode. But we're surrounded by God's creation, and if you've never quote unquote met God, or you don't know what God is, then I think a really good introduction is being outside, because that's his creation. So look what he made, and you'll know more about him. So we were like, hey, we should just find some kind of volunteer opportunity and go outside, and I don't know. So I looked up Nashville volunteer opportunities, and there was a tree planting opportunity, and I said, Erskine, do you want to go? And we went, and I learned how to plant a tree, and we just had a really fun time. And I just think it was important to just, I don't know, kind of partake in our little bitty contribution to creation, helping facilitate it. So it was fun.
I love that. Yeah, we got to read Reforesting Faith together for the new Root and Vine book club, which you will hear more about coming soon. And I think that book really did change my perspective in so many ways. It was basically, you're going to get the full report from all of us, but if any of you are looking for something to read, it's fascinating. It's a page turner. Honestly, it's super fast moving, because it basically starts with this whole approach of how many times are trees mentioned in the Bible, which is like nearly 1,000 times, and at all the most important moments the tree is involved. And so it kind of reveals, like you were saying, this whole character of God and this way of seeing creation as an opportunity to interact with him and his creative vision, and then our therefore responsibility to take care of the gift that has been given to us. And so it was so encouraging to see you all out there. I'm loving it. So I'm definitely going to have to figure out where to plant trees in Ohio. And do you think you'll go back out and do it again?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah. We were saying how, it makes you appreciate creation. And then I turned to them when we were leaving, and we were all going, well, let's find other things. I mean, it could be anything. You could be going to a food kitchen, but it's just like the minute that you're helping to take care of any form of creation, it's like, so we're like built to, our hearts like love that, because it's something, we were designed for that. Our hearts are like modeled after Jesus's, and so we should love that. And so now I think we're gonna look for other opportunities. Maybe we'll plant more trees. Maybe we're gonna, we don't know. There's so many opportunities to give, so we'll find something. I don't know.
Thank you so much. I'm just, again, so thrilled that you are on Our Story, Our Song. Thanks so much for spending the time with us here today on Reasons to Hope. For all of you who haven't yet seen MAYLYN's episode, you can go to rootandvinenews.com. And remember, we're here every Monday at 3 o'clock Eastern. And in the meantime, you can always be sharing throughout the week on Root and Vine socials. Share what's giving you reasons to hope. #Reasons to Hope. And we will see you next week. Thanks so much, MAYLYN.
Thank you so much. Bye. This is fun.